Hey techies, welcome or welcome back to kaetalkstech. So I got a question for you. Let's say that you're on the job and you have to do some sort of project where you need to get requirements from people, right? Now I know that it's really business analysts slash product owners that get requirements, um, but you can be a data person and need to get requirements, and sometimes getting the requirements is an uphill journey, right? An uphill battle. So what do you do um, when you've got people you need to get requirements from that don't want to talk to you? They don't have time. They went through something similar last year. Go talk to the people who did that and get your information from them because they're busy. What do you do? Well, I can give you the benefit of an experience that I had. So I was in a similar situation, and I was working for one of the very large banks, and none of the stakeholders on the list wanted to talk to me. So I went back to my manager and I asked him to raise the concern to the level above him, to the division manager, and to have a meeting with all of the systems um, owners on the tech side to help them to understand that this is a critical project that they cannot brush off. Now, I shouldn't have to tell my manager to do that, okay? My manager should know to do that, but he'd never done a project like that before, and so he didn't know that. Still seems like he should have known it. I mean, he was the manager, managing the tech project, but um, I just do whatever I have to do to get my work done. So I asked him to do that, and I told him it should probably be a recurring meeting because people have questions. I didn't tell him all of that on the same day. Sometimes you got to take baby steps with people. So I told him that. He set up the meeting. His boss came, and now they didn't even invite me to the meeting. Okay. But they had all these so-called, let's call them heads of state, excuse me, from the different systems there, and they impressed upon them, yeah, you can't ignore this. It's not going away. It's a really important initiative. The bank is behind it. We need to get this done, so forth and so on. So the kicker is they wanted to source data across all the asset classes. Um, so that's every type of work that's being done, every type of product the bank has, all the positions, all the contracts, and all of the balances into a database. So I was the point person for that. And I had a team of business side BAs who didn't know any technical data analysis, which I just taught them enough so that they would be able to do the work. Um, I also had them shadow me so they could see how to have these conversations. Because some things you can't learn in a book or by someone giving you instructions. You just have to see how it's done. And so, as a consultant, I need to get it done. And so, um, I just let them shadow me so they could get it. And I attended all their calls until they felt comfortable. Um, and it's so funny how people are different. So they were all men, um, and none of them had a problem with except the youngest one who was sent over from India to sit next to me so I could mentor him so he could go back and guide the Indian team. And I mentioned that I had trained him, and you should have seen the look on his face. He didn't say anything, but he did not like that. And I'm like, well, what do you call it? Because that is what happened. You didn't know how to do this type of work when you came here to sit with me. So, egos, man. In any event, that's what I did. So I bubbled it back up. Sometimes you have to manage up. So that is what I did. So in the course of the project, well, let me take a step back. So I was talking about what they wanted to do. They wanted to source all this data into this one database. Um, and they gave people 30 days to get it done. Yeah, which is ridiculous, right? That's something that takes approximately 3 months. You could do it in 3 months. But my manager said, well, if you give them 3 months, they'll take six. So I'm going to give them 30 days. And it took 3 months, like I told him it would. People were angry. Um, and they were trying to take it out on me and the other analysts. And so there's another thing. How do you handle that? Here's the way I handle it. Well, you know what? You're preaching to the choir. I'm right there with you, you know. I think it's too short a time period too, but you know, I don't make the rules on how the project has to happen. I'm the executor, right? So if you really are, you really want to complain about it, here's the person that you need to contact, and that would shut it down every time. But we had this one particular gentleman who would just not give up the fight. He would just complain all the time. And so the person who was running the analyst who was working on that part of the project with that person said, listen, can you come to my call because this guy is giving me the business every time. And I went to the call and I told him the same thing. So I spoke with my manager. I said, listen, this call that you have with these people needs to be a recurring call because they have a lot of questions and, you know, they're unhappy and so forth and so on. So he had the call with them on a weekly basis. I wasn't invited to the call because, after all, I knew how to do the project that he didn't know how to do. So we can't let me get too much shine, right? So that's another level of egos. But um, I get my consolation prize from the rate. So um, and I had done some hard negotiation with these people to get my rate up, and he supported me in that. So because I was like, well, you know, this is not the job I came here for. And now they're asking me to do this leadership role, so there needs to be a rate adjustment. And if you can't adjust the rate, I'm going to walk. So sometimes that's what you have to do. And I did get my rate, another $15 an hour. Um, and I don't know what they were told, but they didn't like me after that. But it's a consulting company, so I didn't care. So anyway, so yeah, that's what you can do. Um, and when people are complaining about things you have no control over, you kind of agree with them. Now you got to be careful about how much you agree with them because it gets to be a little bit political, right? You don't want to make the people on your team feel like you're stabbing them in the back, but you can just say, you know what, this is, you know, there's really nothing I can do about that. I understand your pain. I hear what you're saying, and here's where you can make those complaints. He never made the complaints, and he finally, at long last, gave up having us listen to the complaint. So I hope that that guidance is helpful for you. Like the video, share the video. Check me out on kaetalkstech.com, and then come back here when we will continue to talk tech. Bye.